Okay, so boom! The scene kicks off with Gojo driving in his Uber late at night headed to his appointment. What kind of appointment, you may ask? Could it be a doctor's? A dentist? Boy, you know good and well there isn't no type of office open at this hour. He is headed to a booty call. Look at him, thinking about it already. He is ready to knock the cursed energy out that cat. My boy got that you up text and left Yuji with a quickness. But mid-fantasy, Gojo senses a demonic, aggressive, ugly energy nearby. And as much as he wants to head to that appointment, he's never been one to run away from a fade. So he tells the Uber to stop and let him out. And after spending a minute or so arguing about how he's not gonna pay for the full ride, the Uber finally gives up and speeds off. But before Gojo could even properly survey the land, this deranged Cyclops comes screaming down from up above trying to send him into the Earth's core. So Gojo jumps back to avoid the blow, and that's when we really get a good look at this hideous, disgusting being. Brother, look at him cheesing mad hard, showing all 32 of his charcoal black rotten teeth. I've never seen someone so happy to get their ass beat. Gojo demands to know who he is, but the creature doesn't even give him a response and instead boots up a giant nipple-shaped volcano behind him and blasts him with a nasty amount of lava. Jogo then begins to laugh like the match is over, but that's when we see Gojo pop up out the smoke untouched, ready for more. Gojo peeps that this curse is mad literate, unlike his usual encounters, so he's able to deduce that this curse is indeed a special grade. And no, not that type of special. Jogo then starts to talk some smack, talking about some, yeah, I know, another special grade. I hope I didn't hurt your pride. But he must not know that Gojo can talk that smack just as well as he can throw hands. Pride? No, I don't swing that way. You're the prideful one for thinking the match was over that fast, Mr. Polka Dot Caveman. But don't think because it's June, I won't beat that prideful ass. So Jogo, now feeling very insulted, decides to boot up his next attack. And now these giant bugs with horns are zooming right at Gojo. So he nonchalantly takes his hands out of his pocket and stops those bugs from giving him a Dennis Rodman-sized nose piercing. But little did he know that this was a two-stage attack, because just as he noticed the increasing pitch of the bug's buzz, all of them blow up directly in his face. Now, any normal person would have at the very least been turned into Freddy Krueger with an explosion of that magnitude directly in his face. But Gojo is not no regular person, word to A-Boogie. You seen the hair on his head, he was destined to be elite. So I was not surprised at all when he popped back up out of harm's way looking down at the explosion. But Jogo decided to put a little bit more respect on his name and hit that corner with immense speed like me when my mom got home and I forgot to take the chicken out the freezer. He then quickly conjures up a ball of flame in his hand, then proceeded to light that man's head up like a jack-o'-lantern. That hit managed to set Gojo off balance, so to finish him off, Jogo ran around the other side and gave him that Diddy special by blowing his back out. Jogo, 110% sure that he got him this time, quickly turns cocky and boastful, flipping that Louis yellow cape with extreme sass. But that volcanic bug is stopped dead in his tracks when Gojo's voice emerges from the smoke, sounding very well and untouched. So he turns back around with the most confused, spooked look on his face, staring at bro like an unemployed nigga who was just told to get a job. Jogo, in awe that he's still alive, begins to question him on how he survived his attack, and that's when Gojo begins to tell him about infinity. But Jogo and me must be twins for real, cause that explanation was too much for our 3 combined brain cells to understand. So Gojo tells him to come closer so he can show him how it works. So the Cyclops wobbles his little hunchback self over there and tries to put his hand to his, but he is unable to fully touch him because Gojo's infinity is in full effect. Gojo then really starts to spit some game to him, and immediately I got flashback to nigga's garbage ass high school game, talking about some, I bet your hand's not bigger than mine. Dang, that's the best we could do? Nigga, get some better game, you're embarrassing yourself. Gojo then tries to use his rainbow status against him by seducing him into letting his guard down, talking about some, don't be shy now. But right as he began to fold, Gojo brought his little kinky self back to reality by gut punching the grape juice out of him, then hitting him with 1, 2 bing bongs to the head and body, and finally a spinning kick. But Gojo has much more to teach him, so instead of letting him drop to the ground, he boots up this dangerous looking red ball while asking Dora the Explorer type questions. What do you think will happen if one touches this void? Death? Nigga, what else? Jogo unfortunately did not answer in time, so instead, Gojo decided to show him by letting that cursed technique reversal erupt, sending him bouncing through the forest. Jogo somewhat regains his footing, so he tries to escape, but Gojo is on that ass like white on rice and punches him back down to the ground. Gojo then proceeds to use his bum ass as a skateboard and glides across the forest, gripping his face while staring into his Hold on, what is this dude on? Jogo eventually retaliates by kicking him off of him, then jumping into the air to catch him with this ferocious purple blast. But Gojo somehow gets behind him, then Blue Lock kicks that man into the shallow body of water. Please pay attention to that follow through. That is an infinity filled kick if I've ever seen one, cause I know Jogo has infinite fractures down that spine. Now this man is slumped over in the water, thinking about that time when Geto told him that if he steps to this man, he will get that belt to ass treatment. And now he completely understands what he meant. But Jogo is not ready to give up yet. This volcano is still active, so he decides that the only way to beat him, since he can't touch him, is to drag him into his domain. But once he looks around, this man Gojo is nowhere to be found. But in the snap of a finger, Gojo pops up behind him, but this time with company. Buddy really went and brought Yuji to the battlefield within a matter of seconds. The fuck did you need the Uber for in the beginning? Jogo then asks him why the hell he brought Yuji here. He's only gonna slow him down. And that's when Gojo crushes his spirit even more by saying that Yuji's not here for backup. He brought him to spectate this ass whooping. Buddy really thought he was worthy of a 2v1. Nigga, you are a demonstration, a lesson plan, a crash dummy, a punching bag. You are not strong enough to be a solo threat. Jogo clearly took that to heart though, because he immediately boots up his domain expansion. And now the ground is breaking underneath them while lava spews out from the walls and in between the cracks. Now you think that this unholy terrain switch would invoke some sense of urgency in Gojo, but instead of locking in to handle him, this man is still treating this like a lesson while schooling Yuji on the best way to break out of a domain. The best way apparently being to lay out your own domain, because the more refined one will dominate the space. Yuji of course is trying his best to absorb the lesson without getting distracted by the environment around him, but Jogo on the other hand is completely shocked that this nigga has the audacity to still be teaching right now. So in a frenzy, he tries to melt Gojo and Yuji with this violent wave of lava, but the lava comes to an abrupt halt when Gojo slightly pulls down his blindfold and reveals his crystal blue Turks and Caicos water dreamy eyes. Ladies, please collect your coochies. The amount of simping I've seen over this man was crazy. Get it together. Like, he's nothing special for real. I could do that. See, look.
It's something about
Wow, y'all are foul. After stunning all the baddies, he hits Jogo with his domain expansion Infinite Void, and his was undoubtedly the stronger domain, because this man Jogo is now seeing every atom in the universe looking completely scrambled. Cooked him so hard he got booted into another universe. Nigga, is this Interstellar? Christopher Nolan, is that you? Now Jogo's just stuck, staring into space, regretting even challenging this menace in the first place. But his reflection time is quickly broken up when Gojo grips the back of Jogo's head and threatens to exorcise him. And not the type of exercise Choji's plump self needs, the deadly kind. Gojo still needs to get some information out of him, so instead of exercising him, he pops that Cyclops' head off, then sends it rolling across the ground like a bowling ball. Now Jogo's questioning him while disrespectfully rolling his head underneath his shoe. Things are not looking good for Jogo right now, but luckily for him, he's got some allies looking out for him in the distance. Geto and Hanami are looking down from a cliff watching this man get worked, so Geto questions him on if he'd like to rescue Jogo. But this man responds in a way that no human could possibly understand. What the fuck is that? What? I thought I was listening to the outro of Duckworth for a second, almost started rapping on him. That boy is speaking in reverse. His response to Geto's question must have been a yes, because back on the battlefield, a giant flower appears right in front of Gojo, causing a whole bunch of other pretty flowers to emerge around them. The pretty flowers managed to distract them just enough for something to grab Yuji by the leg, and while he was getting tossed around, Hanami was able to scoop up Jogo's head head and get up on out of there, thus putting an end to this experimental beatdown. Overall, an aura-filled tango. That man Gojo did not miss one opportunity to flex on his opponent and the viewers, and I can't do nothing but respect it. If it wasn't for him failing to get answers out of Jogo, I would have given him an S, but with that in mind, I'll give him an A+. And last and definitely least, Jogo gets a whopping C. 1, for being just flat out ugly, and 2, for failing to back up all of his slick talk.
I don't really wanna know. Shorty telling me her name. I don't really wanna know. Had to wake up, go to work. I ain't really wanna go. God be with me on my side. He be with me on the low.